Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Neil out here on the Widener range.
BakerTargets.com is where I get the targets you see me shoot all the time on Active Self-Protection Extra. They ship fast, their prices are great, and they have all kinds of targets, both for competitive shooting, defensive shooting, and fun too. Check them out.
Just doing a little bit of work, getting ready for the winter time. You know, things are gonna turn, and down here at my range, the house is about 200 yards up the hill here. There's gonna be 1.5 feet of snow here, so I'm gonna have to go to a lot more dry fire or standing in the snow, which isn't all bad. I'm from South Dakota. I'm used to standing in the snow. The challenge is you lose your mags when you're during your reloads. So one of the things that I want to talk about today a little bit is, you know, I've got this goal that at some point I'm going to take, you know, Gabe White's class again. If you go on the app and watch my last run at the Gabe White, we hosted it, and I didn't shoot great. And I've got plenty of excuses. It's hard to be the host of a class like that. It's hard to shoot when it's 40 degrees, and once you get cold, you never really get warmed up, and all of that other kind of stuff. But the reality is that I'm not happy with my results on that. I hadn't done enough dry fire. I hadn't done the work. So I got the score that I deserved in that. But I want to do this again and really be who I am at that. And so I'm going to put a little bit of work in this over the winter time. Got it lined up to go take this class with a few really good friends. And so we're going to make a weekend of it, let somebody else do all of the hosting and meals and all of that. We're going to have fun, focus, and shoot this thing and just do better. You know, the pinnacle of that class is the turbo pin. And I don't know how many people have won that thing now. I know I think it's over 30 at this point, which is still a pretty small number, and a club that I'd like to be in. But really my goal is to do better, is to be to score as the shooter that I am there. From time to time I can run those turbo times, and if you're not familiar, he's got a set of drills that you do, and he's got time differences set up. So if you do it pretty good, you might get a dark pin run. If you do it a little bit better, you might get a light pin run, and if you do it the best, you're going to get a turbo pin, or you may not get anything. I've taken this class like 3 times in the last 5 or 6 years. It's a really fun class. It's a pretty high round count, but Gabe is one of my favorite instructors. He's a good friend, and I just love shooting with him. I love taking his class because I pick up stuff every single time, and it's a fun one because there's a challenge in there, and I'm a little competitive. I don't know if you knew that, but you know, my goal is to shoot better than I did last time. A turbo pin would be awesome, but ultimately I just want to improve. And so now I've got to put together a plan for improvement. And luckily I've got some resources in that I've got, you know, John Correa, who's a great shooter. I've got my wife, who's a great shooter. I've got Chris Bean, who is a great shooter. I've got Carrie Dudenhofer on the team. I've got Natalie Widener. I've got, man, I'm surrounded with a lot of good resources. I hope you guys are as well. If that's something that you struggle with, join us on the Ask Dry Fire challenge in Facebook, because all of those people are there and they're all willing to help, and it doesn't cost you anything to come up with a plan. But for today, just starting this thing out, I just want to shoot the drills. I'm not going to put it on time. I'm not even going to do it at the 7 yards that Gabe does it. I'm just going to shoot the drills just to get started, and then I'm going to start working these into my dry fire. I do a lot of dry fire with the Mantis. I've been recently doing a lot of dry fire with the Ace VR system, and you can work this stuff into it. So it's pretty cool to get to do this, and while I've got the weather, I'm going to do it live today, see how that works out, and then when I get weather, I'll come down and do it live as much as I possibly can throughout the winter, and just follow this plan to get better. So you get to come along. This is day 1 of this latest journey to do better at the Gabe White class. You may have, if you've been around for a while, you probably followed me last time I did this a couple, 3 years ago, when I finished and did way better. So the reality is, if we do the work, we get better. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the bill drill. The bill drill is you draw and fire 6 shots into the A zone. Now I've got targets. I don't have the square or the rectangle A zone that Gabe uses. I'm just going to use the 8 ring from this B8 on these targets. We have updated the ASP target to fit that better. So instead of B8 in here, it's got the rectangle like a USPSA. But I've got some old ones that I got to get shot up, so why not do that today? So that's what I'm going to do. So it's going to be draw and fire 6. I'm going to run it a couple of times just to see how it feels. Again, you know, I'm leaving the times completely out of it. If you want the times, go Google Gabe White shooting metrics, and you'll find all of those times. But today is not the day. Today is, here's what the drills are. I'm just going to shoot them. I'm going to shoot them at about 3, 4, 5 yards, somewhere in that ballpark. Again, no time, just the drills, just to get a feel for it, to get an idea, so that when I go up to start creating my dry fire routine for the winter, these are the things that I'm gonna have in mind. So, Drawn Fire 6, here we go. Okay, I'm way too close. Gotta back up a couple yards at least. A billet drill at 3 yards is just a little too easy. So I think I'm here at about 5, somewhere in that ballpark. Gabe's class is shot at 7. So I've got a full mag. Got a bunch of loose ammo in my pocket. That's not gonna make drawing very easy with a hoodie, so. Okay, I think the camera is good. Drawn Fire 6, Neil. See your dot, pull the trigger. Okay, so that was probably a 2.5, 3 second bill drill. Everything, let's see here, all 10s, 1-9. So that would be a passing score, not anywhere near the distance that I need or the speed that I need for improvement in the class, but that is the drill. So now what I'm gonna do, I'll do a couple more of these, but the goal is to take this up to my office, sit down and write out a dry fire plan. A lot of the dry fire is gonna be multiple trigger presses. So here we go, let's go a little quicker this time. There we go. So that's pulling the trigger a little bit quicker. Did throw, that's a line break, so that would have counted, so that would still be a 9. So 2 in the 9, rest in the 10 at that speed. You know, the thing with a bill drill is that you've got so much target, and there's no A+ zone, there's just the A zone. And if so a hit inside the A zone at the very top left-hand corner is just as good as the perfect A, which means that you can run your trigger a little bit quicker because the target is a little more forgiving. This isn't bullseye shooting, so that's why we can run at a little more speed. So let me see what I've got left. I'm gonna do one more, I think. Don't have enough in there. All right. Got a trigger freeze in there. I threw one high and into the 8 up here, and it just froze me for a minute. If you heard that hitch, it was right after that one. So again, still a passing score. I just hitched it. I didn't have a great draw. I didn't get a good grip out of the holster. That's all stuff that I need, that I will note when I'm in my dry fire, that I've got to do some drawing. Now, let me unload here and show you just the dry fire portion of this. So this is unloaded, an empty gun. So I'm going to turn to the side berm here. But when you're doing this in dry fire, you're only going to get one click, and then you can just do mushes, right? So let me get this mag out of the pocket. It's a whole lot easier to draw without a mag. So what it's going to look like in my dry fire is going to be a click, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think where a lot of people struggle, and I also tend to struggle, is the way I count is in a cadence. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that kind of thing. So when people count with the cadence that they use with their kids, or when they're counting eggs or whatever, sometimes that messes us up. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, on this side berm, it's gonna look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I want to see the dot. Now I've got a dot. You may have an iron sight, but with a dot, what it's going to look like is I'm reading that dot. Where's that dot going? How much movement is it happening? And if you watch some of the dry fire stuff that I did with Chris Bean about a week ago, you can adjust your grip for that. Now, with all we're missing here is recoil. That's all we're missing, but I can see what the dot. If I want to add recoil, I can do a lot of this, but that adds some challenges that we'll talk about that in another video. So I'm going to run one more build drill. I think we'll wrap this one up, and then I'll do the other ones on other videos. So here we go. Let's see here. I got to find a mag that's got 6 in it. Yes. It's a beautiful day in South Dakota. Should be out shooting pheasants. Okay. Make sure I've got 6. Yes. Okay, so there the lesson is I did go a little bit quicker. I threw one out of the B8 down low and then one out high. What I saw as I tracked my dot is that I was really going kind of quick with those trigger presses. The high one was one of the earlier shots. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video and zoom in and confirm, but I think the high one was an early shot, and then I drove down and I just overdrove it. So that's what it is. So to finish this dry fire or this live fire session, I'm gonna get a couple of decent shots, not in any rush here, just a good draw to first shot, and then we'll move on. So you want to try to finish, that was an X. You'll kind of want to finish your sessions kind of more in a performance mode, not in a speed mode, with a win. It sucks to, throw a couple of shots and then call it and walk to the house, because that's what you go back with. So I'm going to go back with a couple of decent shots. There we go. There's the build drill. Again, you can come along with me for the rest of this journey. There's 3 more drills. We'll do 3 more of those and talk about how we can create dry fire challenges or dry fire regimens to improve in that at another date. But these are the drills. Thanks for coming. See you next time.